Yeah, what you're saying. It's a quite tired Triple B beast boxing basement in the house. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've been busy, you know what I'm saying? Organizing my trip to the center of town, fam. And yeah. And I say every day, I'm doing good. I got at least one video out. I've done nothing today, and I couldn't finish my Asanino Freitas video because it's complex. And, I hit that vape stupidly. Anyway, yeah. So well, anyway, let's talk boxing. What's going on? Yeah. So there's I seen this bill. It's just been announced. I saw it on Guido Vianello, his Instagram. And if you don't know who Guido Vianello is, then you've only just joined the channel because he's the Corey King. So he is. Yeah? Tyson Fury measured his Corey, gave him a full Corey inspection with his brother Shane, and apparently he's got the most impressive of Corys. So. But yeah, Guido Vianello is gonna fight AJ, if I pronounce it right. F.A. Ajagba, the Nigerian dude. And also on the undercard, Jared Anderson is fighting Ryad Merhy. Now this is a real interesting card. And as I said hundreds of times, it don't matter what you say. You can talk about your pound for pound, your feather this, you're so fast this, you're defensive, your footwork, yeah? When it comes to it, there's only one king. There's only one king, the big dog. The big dog who sits atop of the heavyweight throne. Yeah, because you'd be like, bring me this pound for pound son of Edwards. Come on, blood, I'll eat him. Yeah, so, you have to pay more attention to the heavyweight division. If you don't understand boxing. You know what I'm saying? You're probably coping for being a manlet too. Well, which is the most interesting fight? They're both equally interesting. I've talked, obviously, Guido Vianello, I've talked, a bit about. I did a video quite recently. He's 1-1 with 10 KOs. But that one loss was a stopping loss to Jonathan Rice when he got cut, unfortunately. But he also has that draw from a guy called Kingsley Ibe from Nigeria, who actually went on to a half-decent career. He's 2-1 with 9 KOs. He's in the mix himself, although Jared Anderson stopped him, but still. Guido, last fight he had a guy called Moses Johnson, who he absolutely smashed to pieces in a round. He doesn't always look great. He went in distance with Jay McFarlane, that fat Scottish guy who's won the title at cruiserweight and then moved up to heavyweight. He's like 280 pounds. He's tough. He's had a good life story, but he's still fat, and you should have stopped him. But Guido, his amateur career was decent. He fought at the top level, right, for years and years, and WBSS and stuff. But his record was fairly average. I mean, this is box rec, which you can't rely on. It has 29 wins, no stoppages, with 25 losses, 2 by way of stoppage. So that's not great. I mean, he's beaten some names and so on. But, this is the pros now, so there's no point ruminating about that. And he's fighting F.A. Ajagba, from Nigeria, So he's got one loss. So he's got 19 wins, 14 KOs, 1 loss on points to Frank Sanchez. That's no disgrace. Ajagba was put down. I don't really rate Sanchez, I just don't see anything that great in him. People were always raving about Luis Ortiz, but, this guy's probably a little level below even. On Ortiz, I don't think was that great. But Ajagba has beaten Jonathan Rice, who actually beat, Guido, but that was a cut. Ramzan Kojano, who's he beaten? Ali Eren Demirezan, right? As an amateur, he knocked out some good names. I mean, that's what I'm going on. And he fought at the top, but whatever. Ajagba, you'd say, has boxed at a higher level, right? If you look at his names. The first one you notice is Curtis Harper, but disqualified for walking out of the ring. Did you remember that? It's a weird one. The bell goes and he just walks straight out of the ring, which is kind of nuts. It was the shortest fight ever, like 0 seconds or 1 second, I guess. Amir Mansour, the one-time prospect, stopped him. Michael Wally stopped him. So he's got a better record, that's for sure. That's for sure. And after he lost to Sanchez, beat Stefan Shaw. Now this was interesting. Zan Kosubutski, which is a great scalp, but he was disqualified. Kosubutski. It was quite weird. I mean, he hadn't really warmed up, and Kosubutski kept on hitting Ajagba below. I don't know what went on in that fight. You expect them, Kazakhs and Forest and guys and Russians to keep their cool, man, but he didn't. And then he stopped Joseph Goodall, who's a solid, decent fighter. So he's got the better opposition, and he's got a decent KO record against them. I would have him the favourite against Vianello. It's a dangerous fight for Vianello. I mean, Vianello has really started. Didn't really stop anyone as an amateur, but he's started to punch a bit more. I don't have him as a massive puncher, Vianello. I think here Vianello should use his skills, but they're both the same height. I have to lean towards the Ajagba for this one, but I like the Corey King, so hopefully he won't lose. Who else is there? Oh, yeah, sorry. Jared Anderson vis Ryad Merhy. Jared Anderson, he was talking to the next big American. He's at 16 wins, 15 wins by way of knockout. No losses. But he's struggling against Charles Martin. He won a unanimous decision. But I was just thinking, if Charles just stepped forward and starts hitting him, he'll win in the fight. And he'd try it, right? And he'd start hurting Anderson and backing him up. But then he'd just take his foot off the pedal, allegedly. Very suspicious. Anderson was looking okay till then. George Ariasi killed, Jerry Forrest. No one with a particularly great name, but some with good records. Vladimir Tereshkin, 22-0-1. Or Alexander Teslenko, 17-1-0. Jeremy Carpenti, 16-2-1. Blah, blah, blah. But some people say it's too small for a modern heavyweight. I mean, I don't really buy that. It's 240. He's weighed as big as 247. Is he solid? I mean, Americans are desperate for a hope. Him is probably the most likely one to step up. He's only 24. He should wait until the big dogs retire. And then there's a bit of a void apart from Jalolov. So he's fighting Ryad Merhy. Who's Ryad Merhy? Well, he's a heavyweight. He's fought a cruiserweight. He's from Belgium, whatever, from Ivory Coast originally, right? He beat Tony Egyoka in his last fight on points. He did lose to Kevin Lorena, which is slightly worrying. And, he weighed like 229 against Yoka, but before that he's weighing 217, 216, 200, and then he was a cruiserweight. So he's originally moved up cruiserweight. Who else? He beat Zhao Jinjiang, who was the guy who knocked out that Russian dude, Evgeny Romanov, interestingly enough. I don't know who's he stopped. So it's mostly at cruiserweight, right? And he won the world title. He fought for the world title against Arsene Goulamirian, and he got stopped in 11. But that's his only loss by stoppage, and that was late. And he did go the distance with Kevin Lorena. So I think what we've got here, by the looks, is a pretty solid fighter. He's moved up to cruiserweight. He's got a pretty solid record, a good knockout, 26 KOs in 32 fights. Obviously he's not big. He's 31, so he's youngish for a heavyweight. Yeah, I don't know, mate. I'd have to edge towards Anderson purely because of the possible bias he's fighting in the United States. The judges probably lean towards him. This kind of thing. I think Merhy. I don't know how much pop does he have at heavyweight. He's only had 4 fights, and that's in almost 3 years. Yeah. Zhao Xingjiang, well, he stopped him in 8. I mean, that's retrospectively quite a good result. Some no-name bum, Dusan Kristin, 3, and then Lorena losing on points. I don't know if the judges are accurate, but one guy had a walkover, one guy had it easy in front of Lorena, the other guy had it close, but whatever. Yoko's never a real man. He was never a pussyhole who should have stayed amateur, you know what I'm saying? He's a bum, and he juiced, and they robbed Big George Joyce. But yes, I have Anderson beating Merhy. I just think Merhy will probably be, well, like I said, he weighed 229 his last fight, which is his biggest win, but I don't know, man. I guess he's probably on the juice. I don't know whether, I haven't seen him fight, and that's important, so I should probably watch him fight. But at this point, I'm going for Anderson. Possibly in 10 rounds, distance, possibly. or he might catch him later. But still took a couple of good heavyweight fights. It's like almost Turkey a Sheikh, yes? So it's almost like he has forced everyone else to raise their game too, innit? By raising the game big in Saudi.